Good morning, everyone. Cocoa Beach. We're here for just another 4 or 5 days, and then we're heading home to Hawaii. So the Ocean Sunrise Catechism will be going out live around 1 o'clock Eastern Time. I couldn't sleep too well last night, so I got up and turned on the TV to see if I could go to sleep, and I put on the old Wyatt Earp TV series. I'm wondering how many people here remember Wyatt Earp. And you know, I don't live in. I was born and raised. Lived a few years in North Dakota, then moved to California. Then we moved back to North Dakota when I was like in second grade, and then moved permanently to the Santa Cruz area when I was about maybe third or fourth grade. But how many here? But I remember. So I'm the type of person who doesn't get to see where he was raised. I haven't gone back to that North Dakota for maybe 40 years, and Santa Cruz I go to maybe every decade or so. But to watch an old Wyatt Earp movie is like going home, and I realized how many values that I learned from my boyhood heroes like Roy Rogers and the Lone Ranger and Wyatt Earp. That was really something. But back in those days, virtue was really an important part of television. So it's kind of interesting to have it on. I have it on right now, actually, inside the house with no sound while I'm at my desk. Hey, Jack Brennan, I did get your message. It's hard for me to get messages from, let's see, the Deep Adventure website. I get so many messages, so personal messaging me is the best way. But I'm looking into seeing what happened to your ring. I'm not sure, but it would be helpful if you told me. I'm going to go back and see if I can find the order, but it would be helpful if you personally messaged me and told me what ring you ordered and what the ring size is, and I could get that out to you real quick without having to do any research. So if you personal message me on my personal page, that's the best way to do it, because I don't really see a lot of the, we have several fan pages and stuff, and I don't really see them all. To be honest with you, of course I'm always honest with you, but we actually have professional social media people that monitor that a lot, because they know I just can't get to all of it, and sometimes they even do some of the responses. So help me to help you by personal messaging me, and I'll do that right after the broadcast. So Jack's girlfriend had ordered him some pretty cool stuff from our site, and I guess all but one of the things she ordered arrived. So let's see if we get that taken care of for you today, okay? By the way, press the share button. In honor of Wyatt Earp, I'm using this coffee cup today. Still love these. Of course, these coffee cups, I don't know if you can see the little blue speckled. When I had my cabin in Montana, I had the tin version of it, right? The kind the cowboys use. So, sort of in memory of Wyatt Earp and those westerns, I'm using this coffee cup. This coffee cup was actually given to me by a restaurant here called, let's see, Portside Galley, which is no longer open, but I used to go in there in the early mornings and sneak off to the corner and work on my books. My last book. You know, the thing about it is that it's really hard for me to sit here in my house and write. I need to be where there's a buzz of activity, but not where I can really hear conversation. So I go sit in the corner of that restaurant for 2.5 hours, and she knew that was my favorite coffee cup. She'd always bring me coffee, and then one day she just gave it to me as a gift. So that's pretty cool. So we're in paragraph 255, as it says in the opening of the show. The title says Pound 255. That's the paragraph we're in the Catholic Catechism. We're going through a real heavy philosophical and theological treatise right now on the Trinity, about the divine persons. The divine persons are relative to one another because it does not divide the divine unity. The real distinction of the persons from one another resides only in the relationships which relate them to one another. God is one. We know that philosophically. The God who is the ultimate causality of everything can only be one God. There can't be two ultimate causes, right? There can only be one. God can't be bifurcated. There can't be three gods. There can only be one God. And as I said before, the philosophical term simple. He's simple, he's a unity, he's one. They keep saying in science they want to find the unifying principle. Well, that principle is often used as the word, not just for the scientific theory, but what is the progenitor of things. St. Thomas we've talked about God in one of his 5 proofs. He is the pusher that himself has not first been pushed. And so there is this principle, this ultimate cause that is God, that is greater than all, and that is the creator of all. Now, God is not part of his universe. We are not pantheists. People say, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to ask the universe to bless you. That's heretical. It's pantheism. It's false. God is not actually part of the rocks and part of the sky, but he's right there. And in him, the whole universe is held together. But God is a spirit. He's not part rocks. God is not composite. He doesn't have a lot of parts. God is not an evolving God. God is a fully actualized being, as St. Thomas Aquinas would say. Oh yeah, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Don't forget, man, it's Valentine's Day. I got to take Cindy out last night for our Valentine. We're gonna have our own little personal Valentine today, without going out because it's so crazy. And then Saturday morning, we're hoping to go horseback riding because she loves to ride horses. The first time I took her out was before Valentine's Day, because she wasn't ready to be called my Valentine yet. And so we've kind of kept that tradition. We went to that same place down here, Dijon's, and really had a great time. But I remember the way I got her to go out with me is I took her on one of those plane rides and flew right over my house doing barrel rolls. And then I said, now let's go out to eat. Very smart thinking, Jack Brennan, Pat Gervais, Peter Morton. I'm very, very smart, Dan Barta, Ted Scarpino. I took her out on the airplane ride before I took her to eat. I didn't take her to eat and then go on the Bell Road. See? Very smart, very smart. Didn't want her to throw up on. So she didn't think of herself as my Valentine, but I did. So, okay. Because it does not divide the divine unity, the real distinction of the persons from one another resides solely in the relationships which relate them to one another. That's right, Jane. Our Saint Valentine, who was martyred for his faith. In fact, he's very key to what we're talking about today in terms of the Arian heresy that said, we've talked about how he said that the Arians said that Jesus was the highest created being, which is not true. He's eternally begotten. Also, St. Valentine's Day tradition tells us that during the council, he was so upset with Arius and the Arians that he threw a punch at one of them, and they had to remove him from the. Oh, I'm sorry, that's St. Nicholas I'm thinking of now. I messed up. The last story, delete. That was St. Nicholas, the first bad Santa. While they are all called three, in the relational names of the persons, the Father is related to the Son to the Father, and the Holy Spirit to both. While they are called three persons in view of their relations, we believe in one nature or substance. Who wrote that? That's the Council of Toledo in 675. Sorry, I'm listening to Ted's romantic story about last night. Let's see here. I'm sorry, Jack, I'm missing what you're saying. I guess of someone special to you passed away. I'll read back on the comments here soon. Indeed, everything in them is one. There is no opposition or relationship. Because of that unity, the Father is wholly in the Son and wholly in the Holy Spirit. And the Son is wholly in the Father and wholly in the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is wholly in the Father and wholly in the Son. Very important. Three persons with one nature. Thus, during the Arian heresy, one of the big questions was, who is Mary? Theotokos, God-bearer, the Ark of the Covenant, the Mother of God. She's the mother of Jesus. She's the mother of God. She's not the progenitor of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, but she is in that sense. It was her DNA, 100% her DNA, that gave human life to Jesus. So she's the mother of Jesus. She's the mother of God. Theotokos. Saint Gregory of Nazianzus, also called the theologian, entrusts this summary of Trinitarian faith to the catechumens of Constantinople. Above all, guard for me this great deposit of faith for which I live and fight. Now, he was around during that same time that we've been talking about. For which I live and fight. We have to fight for our faith. Hey, aloha to Tony's parents. Great to have you with us. Great to have Tony. It's been such a blessing to us all. I live and fight, which I want to take with me as a companion, and which makes me bear all evils and despise all pleasures. I mean the profession of faith in the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. I entrust it to you today. By it, I am soon going to plunge you into the water and raise you up from it. Speaking of his baptizing them, I give it to you as the companion and patron of your whole life. I give you but one divinity and power, existing one in three, and containing the three in a distinct way. Divinity without disparity of substance or nature. Divinity, oneness, without disparity of substance or nature, without superior degree that raises up or inferior degree that casts down. The infinite co-naturality of three infinities. God's gnarly, isn't he? It's almost like this is the way it has to be. If God is love, who did he love before he created anything? God the Father, the eternal Father, eternally begot the Son, and the love between them, the early church fathers said, is the Holy Spirit. God, the Trinity, is love. They love each other. And then they say something really cool like, let us make man in our image, so that we can join in that Trinitarian love, if we're indeed baptized into Christ. So, the infinite co-naturality of three infinities, each person considered in himself is entirely God, the three considered together. I have not even begun to think of unity when the Trinity bathes me in its splendor. I have not even begun to think of the Trinity when unity grasps me. He's thinking about the three persons, and then he's overwhelmed by the thought that they're one. The divine works and the Trinitarian mission. Now, do you think we're going to work in heaven? Absolutely. Because we're going to be like God, and God works. Even now the Father and I, we work, Jesus said. You think this universe is the only thing God's got cooking that is ever going to happen? Wonder what Tony will do when he's in heaven. Who knows? Because you're going to have the mind of Christ. Who knows what will be our jobs? It's going to be so awesome to have the free agency in heaven, but also have an assignment from God. No different than we have here on earth, except for our ability to know the mind of Christ and fulfill it with total lack of concupiscence. Do you know what it would feel like to not have that little ache in your side? Do you know what it would feel like not to have that tug of concupiscence, but to be totally free from sin, to have the mind of Christ, and to say, you know what? I was thinking of doing this project. You know, just think about it. We're going to have a glorified body. We're going to be physical. We're going to have a physical, glorified body. There's going to be food to eat, right? Didn't Jesus eat with his disciples after he resurrected? Heaven is going to be a gnarly, gnarly place, and we're going to have work to do. So Karen remembers Wyatt Earp. He's just what a man of virtue. And you know, his story is so true. I have all my collection of the early church fathers and all this great theological writing. And then I have this one shelf of a bookcase almost totally filled with over 100 Louis L'Amour's Westerns. And I think I learned a lot about virtue reading his Westerns too. Okay, so I think I've gone off on a little bit of a tear. I'll let you guys enjoy Beautiful, beautiful morning here in Cocoa Beach. It's just beautiful. The fog, the sound of the waves. Just enjoy the ocean for a little bit. By the way, it's not too late. If you have someone you want to give a Valentine to, you can go to our website, deepadventure.com, to the store. And up on the top, it's kind of hard to see, there's a little tab where you can buy them a gift certificate and you can email it to them. So it's an easy way if you need to have get a Valentine to one more person. We have so many great things there at our website. Also, want to let you guys know I'm going to be leaving. There won't be a show on a week from Wednesday, and then I don't think there will be a show until the following Monday, because we're heading to Hawaii, and I'm going to have extreme jet lag when we get there. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Viva Cristo Rey. Happy Valentine's Day. Aloha.